questions we're going to go through today. Is Bo Nix the real deal or just a pretty face? What do the Broncos' future look like this season? Can Coach Prime's offense keep up with Nebraska? So answering those questions is the man who made many defensive players wish they had picked a different career. CJ Anderson, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here. What's happening?
Absolutely. And the man who makes Harvey Specter dodge him, Super Agent Peter Schaefer, Esquire. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day here in Colorado. It's a football Friday, right?
Absolutely.
You know-
And I'm Rob Lazzi. I'm just trying to keep this thing together with some duct tape and super glue. And if you want to interact with us, put your thoughts and questions in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And also after the show, we'll get this up on Apple and Spotify if you want to check it out. First off, is Bo Nix the real deal or just another pretty face? Dr. Bo Nix, as I like to call him. There are plenty of guys who spent 7 years in college, guys. They're called doctors. Name the movie.
You want us to name the movie?
Name the movie, Peter.
You know the movie, Pete.
Peter, you know the movie.
The In-Laws?
No.
Oh,
CJ had a good guess earlier, too.
What was your guess, DJ?
it was The Accepted, the high school movie that kind of like goes around in that thing. So I thought it was that, but that wasn't it.
No.
What's the movie, Rob?
Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy. I've actually seen that. That's crazy. That was my second guess, though. That's the crazy part.
Okay.
That was
Fair
actually
enough.
my second guess.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, CJ, is Bo Nix the real deal? Like, what are we looking at here going in with a rookie captain quarterback for the Denver Broncos?
Look at that. The word caption. It'll be interesting, right? It'll be interesting to see. When you watch preseason, obviously you're impressed. But preseason, it's not ones versus ones. It's not the people versus the people. The game plans are very, very light. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles it. But I do think having a guy like Sean Payton, who's a great play caller, right, and understanding this league can help him out. And it kind of goes hand in hand, right? It's how quickly he can process, which obviously we heard about that a lot, just with a whole bunch of reports. And then it's also how Sean calls the game to help him out. So is he the real deal? I don't know, but he definitely brings a lot of hype and happiness to Broncos country right now. So we'll see. I don't have an answer if he's the real deal yet, but he's looked pretty good, and we'll see. I do know this weekend, this Sunday, the defensive-minded coach that he's playing is pretty stout. So it'd be interesting to see how it goes, especially ones versus ones.
Peter,
CJ, it's interesting. Anytime one of the axioms in football is whenever you're playing a rookie quarterback, we're going to blitz the crap out of it. I mean, it's a given. That's like in the playbook. It's like plays 20 to 60. Rookie quarterback, let's blitz the crap out of them. So I assume that, obviously coming from Baltimore, that's what they're going to do. They're going to be bringing stuff from all over the place. The one thing that Bo Nix has is he's played a lot of football. There are not a lot of rookie quarterbacks that have come in the league and have played as much football as he has for as many organizations. He's seen a lot of good, some bad. I think that Sean is going to be very smart in how much of the playbook he's going to open up and make sure that there are going to be a lot of sort of simple reads, protected reads, and keep things simple the first week, knowing the blitz is coming.
How important, CJ, is the running game to a rookie quarterback? How does that keep him safe?
I mean, it's important to everybody. I mean, Lamar could have used it last night, obviously, right? I'm pretty sure he didn't want to throw the ball 41 times.
No, Lamar last night had a running game.
It was him. I guess it was him. But it's huge. I mean, when you run the ball, especially having a rookie quarterback that's not proven, right? If Javonte can get going, right? If that backfield can get going, right? And just bring an extra guy in the box, right? Which create one-on-one outside with Courtney Sutton, right? And the receivers that they have in their room, it can help tremendously. Establishing the run, right? People go, man, why people don't stay with the run? Why did Baltimore not stay with the run? It's coaches who has to stick with the run. You have to continue to do that. And that's, we got to see if Sean can do that. Like, we know Sean to throw the ball all over the lot. So we got to see if Sean can do that, and that'll help out Bo a lot.
There's something, CJ, and I want you to elaborate on this, but running the ball, in the first quarter, maybe the play gets 3.5 yards, but at some point you're wearing people down. There are very few sports like football that wearing people down makes a difference. And what I really saw last night, and I think you see a lot of it this Saturday and Monday, Teams got tired. Players are not in shape. They're in shape, but they're not in shape to play 65 plays.
Nah, not in game shape. They're not in game shape. I mean, even me, right? When I thought I came in camp at my best shape, first 2 games, you're kind of tired because it's a different pace and a different tempo. You're playing at a different level. So, right, these guys it happens a lot.
These guys have played 20, 30 plays. Yeah, they played some controlled scrimmages and the joint practices and stuff, but it's not the same. That first game, and you saw it last night, Jones, I'll tell you, in the first quarter, he was wrecking things. And in the third quarter, fourth quarter, he was good, but you could see he was fatigued.
And he was getting moved too. Like, he got moved on a double team so crazy somewhere in the third quarter on one of Lamar runs. I was like, that ain't the Chris Jones I know. Like, I played against at that time. But quarter, it's gonna take some time for him to get there. But in the first quarter, he was making guards miss, tackles miss, getting to the quarterback. I mean, first quarter he was a dude. Yeah, he was who he is. He was who he deserves of that contract. One of the best D tackles in the game, if not the best. Now with Aaron Donald retired.
And so I think that, to me, if I'm playing against a team with one corner, whatever it's retained, first 10 plays, I'm just going to run and go routes. Let's tire his butt out. And if we're going to go against a smaller defense line like Seattle has, let's wear them out. Yeah, we might not get 5 to 6 yards of carry, but let's start smashing people in the mouth, right?
Yeah.
No. So thinking about last year in the Broncos and this year, what separates Bo Nix from last year's Russell Wilson?
I think that he's tailor fit for what Sean does. Quick passes, quick reads, getting the ball out. I think Russell's strength was his legs and getting out into, avoiding the rush and then making plays. Sean wants things to go quick reaction. I think Bo Nix does that. CJ?
Yeah, it's a methodical drive, right? That's what Sean, right? That's what he did with Drew. We're gonna get it here. We're gonna get it here. We're gonna get to our spots versus zone. I have man-to-man plays that are man-to-man beaters, and Russ was the big play guy, right? I mean, you would say like the when you look at Caleb Williams in college. I mean, I know he got compared to Patrick Mahomes, but when you looked at how Caleb Williams hold the ball in college and always made the splash play, that was Russ, right? Russ always made the splash play when he was in Seattle, and that's kind of how that role. I don't think that's why it didn't work out with Hackett, and that's why it didn't work out with Sean. And I think that's the biggest difference. The fact that one guy processes, and we're going to methodically use our team. The other guy is, I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to make this big play, and we're all going to be excited because we're going to make this big play.
No, and then Russell Wilson's dealing with a calf issue. Is he ducking the Broncos already in week 2?
I didn't know that.
Like he was limited in practice, and they're already talking he may not start week 1. Are they kind of like keeping him behind the curtain until week 3 to sort of let him dodge the Broncos?
Mike Tomlin got a quarterback problem over there anyway, in my personal opinion. But Tomlin gonna play great defense, and they're gonna run the football, so they'll be all right. I mean, that's just with Pittsburgh. That's their DNA. But I didn't even know Russell was hurt. I would think Russell wants to come back to Denver and be humble and kind as he is, as he's trying to trample over Denver. He's not gonna. He ain't gonna be the guy that's gonna rile around, talk it up, right? He's gonna. I love the Broncos, and I do this and do. He's gonna say everything with kindness to make the Bronco fans feel good, and then he goes to kill them.
There's gonna be no billboard stuff.
Right.
There's gonna be no billboard stuff. But I will tell you this: that the thing that's so great about the NFL are the storylines. Every week there's storylines. We create some ourselves. Some are naturally created. The NFL obviously looks, when they're making a schedule, don't think that they didn't look at, okay, where are we going to put Russell back to Denver? They worked that in the schedule. They know what they're doing. It's an entertainment business, and I'll tell you, it's going to be loud, and he's going to be pumped, and the Broncos are going to stick it right up, his what.
No, absolutely.
But I think this weekend, Mike Tomlin does not know how to go easy. He is a great coach, maybe the best coach right now in the NFL. His team is going to be ready. Russ is going to be ready. And they don't need Russell to be Russell of 2016, 2017.
Yep. They don't need that to win the game. They know if they play the way Mike Tomlin wants to put it out there, they'll be competitive.
I mean, is Russell Wilson and Justin Fields better than what they had last year? Kenny Pickett and was it Mason Rudolph getting some snaps? I would say so. I'd love to see Justin Fields back there running it for Pittsburgh. But so, CJ, another question. And Peter, you've been in the NFL with your contacts for a long time. Have you ever seen, going back to Bo Nix, I was thinking, has there ever been a non-rookie or a rookie non-QB named captain that you guys remember? Is there someone that's been on the team that's gotten to see their first year?
Well, I don't know. I mean, when you go back to when Peyton came out and Drew came out, and the captains weren't named like they are now.
Yep.
Okay.
This is only sort of a recent phenomenon, the last 8 or 9 years, where they have the C on the jersey and they're naming it. A lot of times the captains were game to game or whatever. So this is a new phenomenon. I look at it like, okay, what rookie came in and immediately was the guy? All right. John came into Denver. He was the guy. I call them baggage claim guys. When they picked him up baggage claim, he was the guy. And so when you really look at it, Peyton was the guy. Caleb Williams, this year is sort of the baggage claim quarterback guy. I mean, you got Washington, you got Caleb Williams, you got Drew, Bo. I mean, there's 3 guys right now starting day one. And whether you name Caleb Williams was named captain, Jaden Daniels, he's the quarterback. He's basically the captain of the offense. You don't need the C on the jersey when you're the quarterback to know who's the captain.
Yeah, I mean, in my time, I didn't know anybody outside of the QB position that got the C. It's just a respect for your team, and then obviously we vote on it, so we be honest. We are honest. So like, if we don't think that our quarterback is captain, we got a long season ahead of us. So the fact that, I mean, there's people raging about Bo in the locker room and what they say, and it's something that he brings in the aura and the conversations that he brings to people to make them feel that way. So when you don't have that QB, that's a captain. It's different.
CJ, keep in mind while you vote on it, you don't count the votes.
No, we don't. That is true too. You gotta trust your. You're taking your trust. I mean, in my case, right, and Kubiak and all and Foxy, right, and VJ and the coaches I had. Obviously, they don't want to count the votes. Yeah, you probably know in the locker room you're not captain, but then you start separating the locker room. You don't want to do that. So,
well, my point is though, Sean, he learned from Bill Parcells. All right, Bill Parcells was the greatest manipulator of all times. I mean, he knew that Lawrence Taylor needed a pat on the rear, a kick in the butt. He knew how to deal with Phil Simms, all that stuff, and that's what Sean is. So when the votes came in, I don't even know if the assistant coaches got to count it. Sean had it was more like a litmus test. Okay, what does the team think? Because I guarantee you, Sean had the C's ready to go way before the votes were counted.
Was he using those Dominion voting machines to count them? So
he would definitely. Let me put it this way: I think Trump would love for Sean to count the votes for
that. Coming up, I'm going to ask you guys what you think, how Coach Prime's doing at CU, what can they keep up with Nebraska's offense next week. But I also want to tell people listening, we're coming up on Sunday at 2:00. We're doing a watch along with the Broncos live here on this channel, Twitter, all the channels that we're on. Just follow us on Twitter for it. Play along. It's going to be, CJ, Peter, myself, and I believe, Peter, you got Adam Pac-Man Jones to join us.
Pac-Man's coming on. We got a bunch of guys. We're going to have Derek Brown, who running back from Nebraska, talking about the CU Nebraska game. He also obviously played for the Saints. It's going to be fun, a lot of fun. I just got a text from my son, says, boy, does CJ look skinny.
Yeah, what's up, G? It's been it's what happened when we retired, baby.
CJ.
It's the camera angle.
It's the new iPads. They make you look skinny.
What filter are you using, CJ?
I don't know. My iPad, CJ, I got this new iPad Gavin got for me. It follows me around the camera. So if I stand up.
Okay, that's kind of freaky. I ain't had that.
Yeah, I like this.
That's really cool. And I want to give a shout out to Simpler.ai. They help you organize and help you market in a digital complex world. If you're interested in digital marketing, get your company out there and be seen more, whether it's through SEO, digital ads, click campaigns. Look in the description. You'll see it in the YouTube channel. There's a link there to find more about simpler.ai and even a way just to schedule an appointment with those guys. So super thankful for them for helping us out with this as well. So CJ, how important is the running game for Coach Prime? How are they going to fix that? And is that going to help him keep up with the Nebraska offense?
You know, what obviously what Prime's doing off the field and some of the things he's doing off the field is amazing. Obviously, some of the things on the field, they're still learning and growing. I would thought with Pat Shurmur, which I'm saying this in all respect, right? Not a big fan of the Norv Turner system that I played in. I guess when it's being called by somebody else, I guess when Norv was calling it, it's great.
Let's be different here, CJ. What is the Norv Turner system?
So Norv Turner runs a number system, like 689, and those are the routes. The run game is a zone.
So when you mean 689, X is doing this.
X is doing a 6, tight end's doing the 8, the Z is doing a 9, right? If we just keep it simple with the three.
And what's a one route? Let's go.
Right?
Boom.
So 1 is the now, 2 is the slant, 3 is the out, 4 is the curl.
Evens or ins, odds.
Yeah, evens or ins, odds or outs, right? So I thought with Pat Shurmur you'll see a little bit more NFL stylish, right? To establish that run game, being under center, and just change the angles, right? You change the angles of the O lineman compared to running the shotgun, compared to running under the center. And you see that, like if you go back and look at Derrick Henry in Tennessee and look at Derrick Henry last night, right? As a running back, right? Coming downhill and seeing it in front of us compared to coming from the side and seeing it in a different angle. It just changed the angles. And I thought having Pat Shurmur will make them do that. So when I watch game 1, I'm like, man, Pat's not doing some of the 12 personnels and some of the different personnel. Now, obviously, it's what they recruit to. But he's not doing some of the personnels that I'm used to seeing.
All right, 12 personnel. What's 12 personnel?
So one back, 2 tight ends. That's 12 personnel. Personnel, the number first is how many backs. Number second is how many tight ends, right? So when you the Pat Shurmur that I'm used to seeing, right? Obviously, his head coaching with the Browns, right? His coordinating with the Vikings, his head coaching with the Giants. Right, running different personnels, right? 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends, 13 personnel, 1 back, 3 tight ends, kind of what you saw North Dakota State do to establish that running game because it creates more gaps, right? It creates more lanes to establish that run game. I thought that he would do, and that would also help Shador with play action pass and different things. But, he says they want to run the ball, and we'll see. I think running the ball this weekend will definitely help them. It's going to be a hostile environment up there in Lincoln, and having that, right, you want to kind of keep that high-power offense off the field. I mean, you hear about Matt Rule and his offense and what they got going on. So if he can run the ball, that'll definitely help him. I mean, you don't want to be in a shootout where you don't get the ball last. No coach wants that.
What about CJ? What about CJ? You got rookie quarterback, Riola.
Yeah, freshman quarterback, huh?
Versus veteran seasoned Shador Sanders.
It'll be interesting. I'm saying this. Shador can throw it now. He can sling it. There's no hate in the game of Shador Sanders. He can play. Now, the freshman, he can play too, right? Obviously, we know his dad played offensive line in the NFL, but he can play too. He can sling it too. And like I said, if I was a head coach at CU and I'm going in, right? Obviously, if I got the ball in 2 hands, I feel highly confident. The question is, if I don't have the ball in 2 hands when I need the ball in 2 hands and 2 is sitting on the sideline, right? That's your little Tom Brady and Peyton Manning comparison, or your Lamar Jackson. Like last night, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. Like Jim Harbaugh wants to go for 2 because he knows if they lose the coin toss, it's gonna be some problems.
Now, with saying that, I'll tell you, saying that with a rookie quarterback, Bobby Knight used to say the best thing about a freshman is they become sophomores.
Yeah, fast. Or the other way, right? They get soft, real soft.
Right.
If you're hitting them and doing those things.
I do think that Shador really impressed me the other night. He seems to have all the throws, all the game is slowed down in his head. He's definitely playing like a senior quarterback. Now the question is, I think it's going to come down to physicality. Like we were talking about earlier about the NFL. Matt Rule, those guys come out to play.
They're gonna come to play.
Matt Rule, those guys are coming. They're gonna be physical. They're gonna smash them in the mouth. And I just hope that CU can match the physicality that Nebraska is gonna bring. Those guys have been eating corn-fed beef all week.
CJ, so if you were talking to Coach Prime, how would you encourage him to stick with the run? Like if you I imagine if you're in the locker room, you just like, give me the rock, coach. I'll do it.
Well, the CJ of today and maybe I would say year 3 in the league. All right, my 3rd year in the league, I would schematically try to do things, all right, as a running back. So as a player, I would schematically try to do things that gives us the advantage for us to run the ball, right? Running the ball effectively is having 4, right, 5 yards a carry. Running the ball effectively doesn't mean I need 18 to 20 carries. But if I'm effective, you look at Pacheco, 15 carries yesterday, right? You look at some other games, right? If I have 9 to 12 carries, but I'm effective, right? 45 yards, 65 yards, right? In those 12 carries, I'm running the ball effectively where you gotta accept it. You gotta respect it. And then obviously we can use our big time quarterback Shador to throw the ball all over. So that's what I would do there. And then as a coach, I would schematically say, all right, what gives us the best angles, right? Not only just hat on hat, but what gives us the best angles, right? To put the ball in this spot, because this is where the defense is lacking up front in their front 7, right? From linebacker position in the front that they use. So that's what I would try to do to help Prime on that. And that's, to be honest, that's what I thought Pat Shermer was doing over there. And I'm not saying he's not. I mean, obviously their proof is when you walk out on the field and what happens, but I know North Dakota State is a good football team, but it's still an FCS football team. You got to find a way to run the football.
Let me ask you this. So when you bring, and I think you're going to see this a lot in college football, you bring in 4 new linemen, and college football doesn't play exhibition games, and they had spring ball, and then they had 4 weeks of training camp. What is the sort of the timetable does it take to get them to gel and the chemistry, and to know that the left guard knows that he pass here and the right tackle knows what the left guard's can do? It doesn't happen overnight.
Nah, it takes the gel, like you said. It takes the gel. It takes a center. Like some of the centers I played with were the captain of the O-line. Yeah, you got the big left tackle Ryan Clady getting paid, but Manny Ramirez was that, right? Bo Nix, I can't forget my guy from Utah, Garrett Bowles, right? Garrett Bowles getting paid. Matt Paradis is the guy that's leading it, telling everybody what to do. So when you have those 4 new linemen, right, who's coming in, whether it's from the transfer portal or you got the 5-star left tackle that they got that came in, everybody's trying to learn who they are, right? And then obviously, if you ever seen old linemen in the locker room, it's a tight-knit group. They all hanging out, shirts off, sometimes even completely nude. They hanging out, talking to each other, and that old line group is usually knit. So when you have something like that, you can see that. But you're right, you don't get the preseason games, you don't get the games to get going, so you try to have to get going during camp, and it's kind of tough. But not with college football too much, because they still tackle and practice in college football different than the NFL.
See, let me ask you this. All right, so everybody always talks about the center making the call, right? Mm-hmm. What is this? But nobody ever says what the center is making the call for. What is it? Come to the line of scrimmage. You're the center. What's your call? What are you looking at? And why is it important? And then everybody says, identify the mic. Hi, Mike.
So obviously the mic backer is the mic in the middle of the 3, right? So quarterback has a chance to override it, but usually the center calls out the mic. So we're just going to say, hey, we're going to use, Ray
54
Lewis.
is the mic.
52 is the mic, or 54 is the mic, Brian Urlacher. 52 is the mic, Ray Lewis. And then from there, in the run game, I make my call, which is ever. So if I'm by myself, I might say solo. So if I'm saying solo, the center, me, by myself, then the guard and tackle's working together, and they might say double, right? If I say ace, that means I'm working with the guard, right, whether the play is being ran right or left. So if I'm working with that right guard, then the tackle might work with the tight end, or the tackle might be working by himself, vice versa. So once I make the call, everybody else calls goes down, and that's kind of how it goes. And when you have that continuity where when the center can look at the front, but then the guard is looking at the front too, he's like, yeah, I know I'm in the ace, right? And I know how my buddy next to me is going to do this. That's that continuity and that practice over and over and over. But you got to get there.
As the guard, I'm an ace. The tackle says, all right, he got him one-on-one. He can handle him. I've seen him play.
He can handle him. I've seen him play. I've seen him do it. I don't need to help him as much. I can go climb to the linebacker right away, right? The back in the backfield, he knows that. So he's like I've had plenty of times where I'm like, okay, I know Orlando's going to hook this 3. Like I know Orlando's going to hook this 3, or I know Lewis is going to move this 3 technique, right? So I know Clady's going to go up to the linebacker faster. That's where I'm putting the ball. I can go. Like I can speed up my tempo and how I'm getting the ball because I can go, because we all are on that same page.
And again, like you line up, you're the center, and you make the call. 52 is the mic, and I'm the tackle, and all of a sudden Chris Jones comes right in front of the guard. You're like, okay, he's going to need a little help.
Yeah, when you get those type of players, I mean, in college for me, it was Will Sutton. Didn't have a great NFL career, but when he was at Arizona State, he was a monster, right? And then it's like you always hear quarterbacks and receivers talk. As a coach now, I always tell my running backs, especially when I was at Rice, like, go talk to the O-line, and O-line, go talk to the running backs. Tell them what you're seeing because quarterbacks and receivers talk to get on the same page. We got to do the same thing in the run game, right? We have to do the same thing in the run game. I have to know what my guard is thinking. I have to know what my tackle is thinking. Why did you do that here when I'm thinking this here? So we can be better in the run game. Those conversations need to happen more. And they do happen on NFL sidelines. I don't know how much on college sidelines. I know when I brought it to Rice, it was like, whoa, I ain't never seen this, right? And Rice run game was better that year than it's ever been.
So it's interesting to me. And of course, you played with Peyton, and he was the master of this. But I was at Jets camp a couple weeks ago, and they were going 2-minute. And we're just watching. Of course, the Aaron Rodgers is a pretty good football player. And there's like 20 seconds on the clock, on play clock. It's been an incomplete clock stop, 20 seconds. All of a sudden, he just starts barking commands to the running back, and just saying so. I'm like, ain't no chance he's getting the ball. He's just messing. He just messing with the defense at that point. He just looked at the clock, saw 20 seconds. He's going, laser, double razor, twipper. And he's giving the hand signals and grab. And I'm like, ain't no way that running back getting the ball, right?
Right. That's usually how it goes. Especially when you have that. Peyton had that stigma. Obviously, Aaron has that stigma with certain signals. They're just dummies, man. Because sometimes the defensive coordinators and this defense overthinks themselves. It's just dummies sometimes.
How many of those signals? How many of those signals are garbage signals when you see quarterbacks there screaming for 15 seconds before the play? Like, how many? Like, are they doing it for themselves, the defense, their team? Like, how much of that is actually like deception?
Most of it. Some of it is. Most of it is.
All right, CJ, give me your best Peyton Manning. You got 25 seconds on the shot on the play clock. We're in 2-minute. Clock is stopped.
So 2-minute clock is stopped. My best Peyton Manning, right? I mean, obviously we went on Blue 20 Go, but Peyton Manning will call a play, right?
Well, give me the play. Give me a play.
So let's say we're in 2 minutes. Let's say dice right open. Let's keep it simple, right? Let's say dice right open, and let's go Houston. So let's say dice right open. Let's go Houston Sigma, right? Let's keep it that way, right? I don't know if Peyton will ever call that together. That is me making that up. But let's go dice right open. Let's go Houston Sigma, right? Obviously, right? Let's say we got cover 3, which is a great call for Houston, right? And Peyton might say, right, disregard the audible or give the disregard audible signal. Like, he'll do that. So, like, Peyton will look at you and do this, right? And then after he does that, he's throwing up so many gang signs. You're just sitting there going, he's not really giving me anything. But you're nodding your head and you're doing things like this, right? And then after that,
because when he went like this,
he's telling you like, "Hey, this is all fluff. That's what this means, and this is fluff." Hopefully, I'm not giving my own signals away when I get into that. So now I got to change that signal if someone's trying to watch me as I coach. But this is all fluff. So now when you see like Wes or DT, right? God rest his soul, right? Or when you see Emmanuel or Decker, right, nodding their head or thumbs up or giving him the same signal back, right? You can see the communication between the secondary. And sometimes I'm in the backfield like, y'all have no idea what y'all do. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious, right? It's hilarious how they do it. But most of it is dummy. But there's always a live word, right? You're looking at the shot clock, right? And you're like, okay, 6, 7. And it's always whether the word was Omaha, whether the word was green, there's always a live word to like, okay, this is the play. Let's do it.
So CJ,
he's going dummy, 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 and all of a sudden he goes green, green, and he goes whatever, Razor, Houston, whatever. Then you are running that play.
You are running that play. Yep.
So what is this? What is it call for? All of a sudden you see it all the time. The quarterback notices the shot or the play clock is running down. Snap the ball.
Hurry.
Just hurry. That means
hurry. We need one ball. Clock going. Hurry. Like hurry. Like let it go. Like come on.
No matter where we're at.
In Peyton's world, right? In Kubiak world, it was black. Like Kubiak world, it was black. Like snap it. Like I don't know why it was black. I have no idea why it was black. That's interesting. I should think about that. But black.
Don't overthink it. But right. So, but he goes black. Everybody knows to be stopped, and the snap's coming in a sec.
Yep.
So CJ, I got a question for you because your future goals is to be a head college football coach, correct?
Yes, sir.
So what I want to work on my resume to help work with you, but I want to be your sign stealer. What do you want to see on my resume to hire me as a sign stealer wherever you go?
Did you hang out with the guy in Michigan?
No, but I watched the documentary.
that's That's probably my number one question when I want you to go steal signs. Now stealing signs is tough, and now with the college football having the mics and the helmets, which I think is great for the transition for those quarterbacks that's going to play in the NFL, because this whole clap cadence, I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate it because it's not.
So we should start doing a podcast like this.
Yeah, I mean it helps. It helps. But this when you can steal signs, right, and compare those signs to what you see on the field, like what they do in the NFL, college coaches just don't put that much time in, which I don't know why. It's not like they're teaching classes and doing those things, right? But when you see when NFL has a guy for everybody, like, hey, Peter, you look at their social media, and if they have a new play, like, you better come to me. Like, the NFL is so particular on those things, different than college. So if you're trying to steal signs in college, I would tell you, you got to do it like the NFL. That's the only way you're going to be successful.
But what happens? I see. We just had cut down day last week, right? And Seattle playing Denver, New Orleans playing Carolina. They sign a guy off the practice squad, or they sign a guy, or they claim a guy in waivers. Are you worried then that, oh my God, Billy Smith just got claimed by Seattle? He was on our offense. They're gonna debrief the heck out of him. They're gonna know that this is dummy, and Omaha is the go call, and Houston is this.
Not really. I mean, it depends how in depth is. Like my best story with this, right, is Mike McCoy leaves Denver to go be the head coach with the Chargers, who were in San Diego at the time. And I remember Mike McCoy screaming our plays out. Still couldn't stop us. Right? Screaming, like, Peyton makes a signal. That's dummy. Peyton makes a signal. DT's running a dig, but still couldn't stop it. Right, for whatever reason. So, like, you have coaches who understands where it comes from too. Right, at the end of the day, it's the execution and what goes on. But it's crazy. But now we don't really too much worry about the debrief. Obviously, that as we like to say in our business, the kid got cut for a reason. So if you want to go debrief the cut kid,
one of the best things I heard about Peyton's audibles was anytime he would use a comedian's name, then it was a dummy call.
So yeah, jokes.
He goes Sandler.
Jokes. Yeah, a lot of jokes. Rock.
Joke.
Right, Kevin Hart. Like, it's a lot of jokes. So
Hart. Yeah.
There's things that connect with you, right? Just like what I loved when I was in LA. Hopefully Sean's not doing this. So McVay, I apologize if you're still doing this, right? But rappers, because they were flashy, were pass plays, right? And then country music, which is kind of like flowy and not as flashy as what some rappers say, were run plays, right? So when you go up there and talking about, certain country singers and certain rappers, it puts it in a funny position. And for us as players, it makes us go, "Oh, I know what that play is," right? Snoop Dogg, right?
So what if you call
Garth Brooks? I know what that play is, right? I know what Garth's singing about. Let's run the ball.
Hey, Rob, do we have that play that we could throw up on the whiteboard?
I don't know which one you got. Let me know. But I was curious. What if he called Kid Rock? Like, would you be confused then? Like, that could be
interesting. Try to stay away from people who are going to raise their hand in class, as we say, in the meeting rooms, to raise their hand and go, if you call Kid Rock, which one is it? Try to stay away from those. Try to keep it like, that Garth Brooks is a country singer. That Snoop Dogg is a rapper.
keep them separated. Keep them separated. So I know we talk about CU. What I want from you guys is, what's your prediction for them for this season? Are they going to make a bowl game? How many wins do you think CU is going to get?
I said anything under 8 is a failure for Prime. So the bowl game is good, but I think Prime has to win 8 games this year.
I don't see 8 on the schedule.
I'm telling you what I think. I didn't say what's going to happen. I do think they make a bowl game. No, I don't see how they don't get 6, but I don't think 6, right? Because obviously, what does hold true? Shador and Travis is for sure leaving, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna obviously. He's a good recruiter, so you're going to bring in the next class. But I think winning 8 builds towards that future, especially with some of the recruits, than just going to go play in the Holiday Bowl winning 6. If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. It's an interesting question with how many wins they're going to get. Like, what? So then, with having to get 8 wins, what about this week in Nebraska? What's going to happen?
It's going to be tough. That atmosphere is real, man. college football atmosphere is weird. Like obviously, I got my Cal shirt on today. Go Bears! We go play in Auburn. Our kids from California, one, got to go to Alabama. They're out there right now, and then two, it's 100,000 strong in Auburn, right? Wearing orange or blue or white, it's gonna be loud. And you don't get those. You get those atmospheres in NFL because all NFL stadiums are 70,000 plus, and it's always sold out. No matter, even the Lions were sold out when the Lions wasn't the Lions of today, right?
Yeah.
So like it's gonna be loud every time, no matter what's going on in NFL. College is not like that. And
But see, all right, see, I'm looking at the CU schedule, right? And you just go like this or go like this. When
if I go like this, it means it's 50-50.
Right. All right.
It can go either way.
Nebraska.
I'm leaning more here though. I think.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys. No.
I think it
no.
can be this, but I do think it's going to be a good game, right? It depends on who has the ball last.
We're going into Nebraska and going to husk some corn. Let's go.
We'll go here.
Let's go. We're up. We're taking it.
What's the N on the Nebraska helmet stand for, CJ?
Nebraska.
When Nebraska has the N on the helmet, what's it stand for?
The Nebraska. That's what I thought it would stand for. Now, if I'm off, I'm off. But the N is Nebraska.
My understanding, Nebraska is for knowledge.
Oh.
I'm just saying, all right?
All right, Nebraska, we're here, 50-50. Be a good game, though.
Colorado State.
Oh, that's a dub.
All right, so we're 1-1-1, right?
You can say that.
Baylor.
At home, right? That's
Baylor at home.
That's a dub.
All right, so we're 2-1. 2-1-1. UCF on the road, Florida.
On the road, Florida, Central, or what over there with good Gene. That's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good game.
K-State at home.
K-State's a good football team.
That's right.
That'd be another good one.
That's right,
guys.
I'm just giving you the program history and coaching.
Arizona in the desert.
They'll beat Arizona.
Arizona's loaded. They got the best receiver in the
country. They were in the country. T-Mac can play. I tried to get T-Mac to Cal in 2020. Ended up going to Oregon, right? Transfer there. However, if Fish was over there, and I got a lot of respect for Fish, right? He was a part of the Super Bowl team I played in LA, right? The one we lost. If Fish was over there, I would probably go down. But I ain't got nothing against Brett Brennan. I think that's his name, or Brett Brennan, who was at San Jose State. He just moved over and took over. I understand they got the best receiver in the country, but I'm giving Prime that.
In the desert, Cincinnati home.
Cincinnati is a dub, so that's 4 wins so far.
Cincinnati's not bad. They got a nice little running back. Reminds me of C.J. Anderson. Texas Tech on the road.
That's a dub.
I think we're having a great season so far with
5 wins right now.
I'm at
that's
6.
5 wins right now.
6 already, guys.
Yeah, and then who's the last 3, by the way? Utah.
Yeah, see, this gets tough. Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State. Oh, that's a tough 3-game slide. Right? Utah is going to be a really sound, right? What Kyle and them has been doing over the last couple of years, really sound football team. Kansas has coming, and the coach over there has been playing really well, and Kansas will be fine. Now, the good thing about Kansas is what Kansas team are you going to get, right? Is the Kansas team that's late in the year and they're fighting for a Big 12 championship, or is it the Kansas that started off hot and they're 6-0 and then they always fall off at the late in the year, right? And then obviously what Van Gundy done over there in Oklahoma State, they're just going to be tough to beat. I mean, they're favored to win the Big 12. They're just going to be tough to beat. But there's 6 or 7 wins right there. If Prime can find one more win, 8, then he reaches what I'm saying, which is great. But I do think there's 6 or 7 wins in that schedule.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll tell you, and with college football, everybody's got all these predictions. Who had Florida State being 0-2, though?
I didn't have them being 0-2, but I didn't have them playing well. I mean, I'm
just saying that a lot of stuff can happen. We won't know really who's a good team till
later. Football don't start until in NFL till November, and college until mid-October. But I will say this about Florida State: when you play portal, and this can hurt Prime too. When you play portal and you do this, right, and you're just rotating cats, and then those portal guys leave, and you don't develop, and then you try to bring in portal. Like Jordan Travis was the portal, the receiver who's playing for Buffalo, he was a portal guy. A couple of their defensive guys was portal guys. When you hit on the portal, it's like hitting in free agency. But Peter will tell you, when you don't hit in free agency, you got a bad football team. And that's kind of what's going on with Florida State right now.
Well, I think you're right. I think what's happening in college is people are spending money in the portal, no different than the analogy you used, free agency, but they don't have the scouting departments that the pros do.
Right.
And so you're dropping money on this you drop big money on a quarterback. Well, no other quarterback's going there. Quarterback's not going to get stacked.
Yeah. I mean, you look at DJ. I got nothing against him. You look at DJ, 5-star recruit coming out of high school, right? In the NFL, they're going to look at, well, why is he going from team to team to team? And they're going to look at his tape and why is he not playing well? But in college, it's like that 5-star recruit still holds, no matter if it was back in 2018 when he came out, even though he's been on team to team to team and probably haven't played well. But, as a coach, you go, well, he's a 5-star recruit. And if he's in my offense, he's going to be the 5-star recruit that he was supposed to be. Now, he's already shown you what he's supposed to be in his last 6 years of college.
I will tell you this. So we put a lot on these, 18, 19, 20-year-olds. And how many years has the Utah quarterback played?
Yeah, I mean, and he's coming off injury.
I think he's old as you are, CJ.
I hope not. I hope not. But yeah.
But I do think that the one thing about playing football, playing quarterback, is you need live reps. Baseball, I could throw batting practice all day. I could work on this. And, we could go, get in a cage. Football, you got to get hit in the stomach. You got to get hit in the mouth. And you got to play. And maybe like the, North Carolina State, the Florida State quarterback is going to, these 2 games are going to toughen him up, and they're going to figure out what he can do and what he can't do and start changing things around and adapt. And that's coaching, right?
Yeah, it's coaching and time. The time is different, right? These kids go to class. They're not in the building like we were from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. They're just not in the building all day doing football. There is going to be a 5-6 hour gap of these kids have to go to class. It's just a part of college football. As much as college football is changing into a business and paying kids with NIL, and they still have to go to school. And as a coach, you're missing 5 hours that as a coach in NFL, you don't miss those 5 hours. Caleb Williams, sit here, right? Kyle Murray, Kyler Murray, it's in your contract. Come up here and watch film with me, right? Like it doesn't go down like that in college football. It just never will.
So going back to the Broncos now, as we've figured out that Prime's going to win 8 games. At least I think he will. But what about the Broncos season this year? And what are they going to look like against Seattle? What's your thought with Seattle? The Broncos are a 6-point underdog. The over-under is 41.5. What are you thinking, CJ?
That's a good under. I'll take the under on that. That's a good 6-point underdog is kind of high in the NFL. 6? There's no games.
The Seahawks are favored by 6.
It's usually 3. It's going to be loud, right? I mean, but Bo played in some, like P said, man. Bo had a lot of games, so it's going to be loud. The game plan to be different. The question is, can Denver run the ball, right? And can Bo be effective in completing passes? And then obviously on the opposite side, right? Can they tackle, right? Can Patrick Surtain completely erase DJ Metcalf? And then obviously can they get to Geno Smith, right? And then on Seattle end, can Seattle, right? Defense, right? Be something different. It's not under Pete Carroll. They're not going to sit there and play cover 3 all day. And the rest of front 4, they're going to give different looks because that's what I think his name is McDonald, Coach McDonald. That's what he does. That's what he did in Baltimore, right? And then obviously, if Geno is in rhythm, right? And if Seattle can run the ball, but if Geno's in rhythm and the ball's getting to DCAF and the ball's getting to Jackson and Jimma, like it could be a problem over there for Denver. So.
One thing, CJ,
I don't have a prediction on the score, but that's kind of if the game goes those ways, right? Those are like my keys to win on both sides of the football.
The one thing I noticed, CJ, sorry to interrupt. The one thing I noticed in watching Seattle preseason tape is they ran a lot of RPOs, a lot of college stuff, a lot of RPOs, and it was working because the running backs were gashing because people were having to respect the quarterbacks because Geno didn't play a lot. It was number 2 and number 3 quarterbacks. Geno don't want to run the ball. So an RPO without the quarterback being a true threat, without the R, is really just a play. At that point, it's a play action pass.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a good game, right? It's gonna be a good game. I think 6 is way favored. Like that's disrespectful to Denver. I don't think 6 is what it needs to be.
CJ, I just got a question on the text line. Who's RB1 in Denver?
It should be Javonte Williams. Shouldn't even be close. Give the ball to 33. He's back. He looked healthy. He looked really strong in the preseason. He's hungry.
Is he a bell cow running back? Is he C.J. Anderson? Is he Joe Mixon? Is he a guy that can he handle 20 touches a week?
I don't know if 20 touches is in Sean Payton's, like, he didn't give Kamara and Ingram 20 touches, right? But he gave them carries. Yes, he's a bell cow back in the Sean Payton system who can catch, pass protect, and run the football. Can he handle 15 to 18 carries a game? Yes. Can he get in the rhythm and get going? Yes. The question is, do they call that in a rhythm way to get him going? That'd be interesting. That's up to Sean and his play call sheet.
How important is it for Javon? Okay, sorry, Pedro.
Here's one for you. Riley Moss, first white
corner. I've seen that.
to play since when? Let's just put it on the table. If you're Seattle, you going at him?
It's just Seahorn. Oh hell yeah, I'm going at him. No disrespect. Right?
Is that because a young corner, or is he's a white young corner?
That's because both. It's because both. Nah, it's also because Pat's on the other side. But I was on I did this little thing with Denver. It was like the Fly Zone Allcast. It was me, Talib, and Chris Harris. And Talib, one of the greatest corners, right, to play. Like, Talib is the top corner in this league from, his interception record and those things. And Talib like him. So if Talib like him, I got to trust him, right? I got to trust Talib eyes. If Talib liked, and Chris like him a lot too. So obviously it's good. He's going to get an opportunity, but he's going to get a lot of balls thrown his way. I hope he's ready. I hope he knows that.
Well, right. They're going to test him until he either sinks or swims.
Yeah. I mean, this is what it is, right? They're going to go after him. And part of it, they're going to go after him because there's an all-pro corner on the other side.
But you have to assume that VJ, the defense corner, Vance Joseph, is smart enough. He's going to protect him a little.
He should. Definitely, right? I mean, and VJ comes from the Mike Zimmer tree, so VJ plays a lot more zone than he does man anyway, so that'll protect him when it's up. But on man-to-man downs, VJ will definitely find ways to protect him for sure.
How much are they going to miss Justin Simmons in the backfield in the secondary?
I think a lot because of communication, right? Like, what people didn't understand, that was Justin System's. That was Jay Sims' second time in VJ's system. So I'm pretty sure he was way smarter the second time in that system than he was the first time in the system. And that communication runs strong and runs deep, and the knowledge. Jay Sims smart as hell. So, like, having that smartness to help young corners like Moss, right, to give them different things and show them different things in the film room, right, is completely different. So they're gonna miss him a lot. But obviously, look, when Elway cut TJ, we thought Elway was tripping, but then Jay Sims became Jay Sims. So maybe they know something we don't.
No, fair enough. So what's the definition of success for you guys this year with the Broncos? With the rookie quarterback, really now Sean Payton's putting his thumbprint on the team. What's the definition of success this year for the Broncos?
8-9 wins.
Playoffs.
8-9 wins.
Even if they sneak in the back door.
If they sneak in, that'd be great. But 8-1 wins. I mean, I think the division is kind of like New England. I think it's Kansas City's for the next decade.
Yeah, I think it is.
But 8-9 wins is a 6 wins is obviously it's cool, but it ain't good. 8-9 wins with Bo. Now you have a chance to be real, real scary going into the next year. And then if you sneak into the playoffs with Bo, then you definitely have a chance to be sneaky. I think the AFC is loaded to try to find a wild card spot, though.
Yeah,
like when you look at the AFC, there's 3 teams in the AFC East that can potentially make the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, one of those teams got to win the division, right? There's 3 teams in the AFC North that can potentially make the playoffs. You only get 7 spots.
What about?
Right? But obviously, that leaves you with, right, the AFC West, where there's 2 teams who, maybe 2 teams who can make the playoffs there, and then obviously you got the AFC South, right? There's you got the AFC South, which you got Houston, you got Jacksonville. That's 2 teams who can make the playoffs. It's only 7 spots, so it's gonna be tough.
Well, so I really think that the Broncos' schedule or season is dependent on or contingent upon how good the Raiders are going to be in the Chargers.
I agree with that too.
I don't know if the Raiders are going to be that good, and if they're not, then I think that opens up 2 games. And I think that if the Chargers, such a wild card with Harbaugh there, that could be 3 or 4 wins right there. Then you look and they do get to play the Panthers, and the NFC East is not as strong as the NFC West.
Yep.
You got the Panthers, you got the Falcons, you Tampa.
Yeah, NFC South is
Atlanta, a bunch of
New Orleans.
8-8
The
teams.
NFC South is still trying to find who's going to win the division every year.
Right, and so I think
division.
that that's why I'm a little bit more optimistic, I think, than other people, because you Chargers, Raiders, if you go 3-1 there, NFC South go 3-1 there, they're 6-2. If you just split with everybody else, you're 10 games.
Yeah, I mean the rule we used to say back when I played is 10 to get you in. But like I said, just because you have Buffalo, Miami, New York, they could potentially be 10-win teams. One of those 10-win teams are going to be out. And then you have, right, if Cincy stays healthy, you got Cincinnati, you have Baltimore. Baltimore's going to be a good football team. Don't get that twisted. And then obviously the Browns are going to be a good football team.
If
right?
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, the Brownies are going to be a good football team. And there's a potentially of 9 to double-digit winnings in that. Somebody's going to be left out. It's only 7 spots. There's 6 teams I named, right? And that's without, right, Kansas City, Houston, right, and Jacksonville, right? There's 9 teams that are strong for 7 spots. Like those 9 teams are good in the AFC, right? Compared to, last year and what you think. Those 9 teams are good in the AFC. So it'd be tough.
Despite wins or losses, if I said a successful season for the Broncos is them averaging, say, over 24 points a game, am I crazy?
No.
If I said that,
you average 24 points a game in the NFL, you are a damn good football team.
Yeah,
it's like not giving up 24.
Well, if they could do that and Bo Nix can develop this year, then I think that's a successful season.
Because I'm not convinced their defense is going to be as good as it has been in the past, just because of the changes in the defense. But if all of a sudden we're not trying to win games, 12-9, if all of a sudden we're putting 20, 24, 30 points up a game here and there, also it's like, hey, so what if we lose 30-33? You know what? We're putting points up. We're figuring it out. We have an offense again.
Niners averaged 28 points last year. Obviously, that didn't happen to help them in the Super Bowl. But if you're averaging 28 points in the National Football League, you're gonna win. You should win at double-digit games.
So, yeah. Rob, what's the schedule for the weekend here as we wrap this up?
Yeah, so we're once again, I just want to remind guys during the Bronco game, we're going to go live probably right as it kicks off just after 2:00. We're going to have Pac-Man Jones join us. Thanks to Peter. We're going to have some other friends. So we're excited to that. We're going to have a watch along. So we're going to watch on our devices. We'll get them all as synced as we can, so Peter doesn't give us the plays ahead of time and the results. But we'll watch it. We'll watch along. And so it'll just be a fun time, just more of a relaxing time hanging out with us. As my 2 new best friends here as we watch the games with you guys and anyone else who joins along. So it'll be fun. And maybe we'll get Brute showing up if we have some injuries to talk about him and his PT clinic, sort of like, how are you guys going to recover after week 1, especially after, being a little out of shape. I'm always curious with that. And so, but we're going to do that this weekend. What game are you, besides the Broncos, you guys most looking forward to this weekend?
Ooh,
I like Sunday night and Monday night. I like Detroit and obviously Stafford going back to Detroit. I like the Rams. I think the Rams are going to be a good football team this year. They're going to surprise some people if they can be healthy. And then I am curious to see what my boy 8, obviously used to wear 12, but what my fellow Cal Bear does over there in New York. I think New York has been waiting for something like this. I think Aaron Rodgers is still at the top of his game. I think Garrett Wilson is a hell of a young receiver that he can work with. And then I know, when we talked last time, Peter had some things that, about Salah, but Salah has been a great defensive coach. Then the defense has been top. So if they can just do that and Aaron Rodgers can bring what they expect to bring, I think the Jets can be dangerous.
I think,
and I like seeing what the Niners on the Niners end too, right? Like you can't get caught with the Super Bowl hangover, right? Obviously, what Kyle and John Lynch, Pete will tell you, Pete knows John very closely. Probably know Kyle closely too, just for being in Colorado. But at some point, the Niners got to get over the hump, right? At some point.
You know what's cool though is when you look at the schedule this weekend, every game is watchable.
Yeah,
there are no duds. I don't care. The Titans Bears going to interest me because of Caleb Williams, right? Patriots Bengals. Bengals haven't had their. If you want, I guess we could talk about gambling. I wouldn't touch that game. Everybody's going to think the Bengals are going to blow them out, but the receivers haven't played. Burrows hasn't played. We have no idea how the Patriots are going to be. I think that's going to be a very interesting game. Even the Vikings Giants.
Yeah.
Is Daniel Jones for real? Or what are the Vikings going to do? Are they going to crap the bed. You know, the Raiders, Chargers. I just told you right now, they're the two teams I can't tell you what they're going to be, and they play each other week 1.
Peter, you know what game I'm most looking forward to is the Houston-Indianapolis game. I want to see Anthony Richardson play against C.J. Stroud. I think Anthony Richardson coming off injury and C.J. Stroud with his receiver core is Houston for real again, and is Anthony Richardson going to pull the Colts out of mediocrity?
What's the spread there?
Oh, I have no idea. Let me
3.
check.
Because of our great man Peter, I think Houston is a better football team. When you add a guy like Joe Mixon, I text Pete when this happened, right? I kind of text my agent when I'm kind of like upset, like how you didn't put me in those positions, but put Joe Mixon in those positions, right?
Is that like a former coach? Like, why are you letting Rob play? You know?
Yeah, like how you take care of Joe, but you didn't take care of me at times, man. That move he made for Joe Mixon is like golden.
How many Super Bowls did you play in?
I got you. You got it. We made some moves, but that move for Joe Mixon in that time, and obviously CJ's a hell of a quarterback, right? And CJ can sling it around, but having a running back who can take over games and carry the ball, also still catch the ball out of the backfield, I'm expecting a huge season from Joe because they're going to run the ball in Houston. That's the Shanahan tree, and that's what they do. I'm expecting a huge season from Joe. Obviously, I know he was hurt a little bit during camp, but and then I know Peter's going to be on him, but I'm expecting a huge season for Joe, which is going to help Houston out a lot.
So we got a great game tonight, Friday night. Got CU Nebraska Saturday night. We got football day Sunday night football, Monday night football. We know what the spread is. What's the spread in the presidential debate? Is it 3 or 4?
I'm curious.
What's the spread?
The question is,
or are you going to go over and under? You going over and under on that one?
The question is this. How many insults come from both candidates' mouth to each other and about the policies they should be talking about? What's the over-under on the insults?
Oh, I hope
right? That's because, like, obviously, we're talking about the presidential debate this is a thing that we're supposed to do for our country, but it just becomes entertainment. I mean, if you've been on Twitter, and Elon's like a big part of this too. Like you see Elon even going back and forth with it. Like, look what she said about him. Look what he said about her. It's like, how are we living in a reality show with our presidency right now?
Speaking of making that a reality show, who would you want to see actually be the host of the presidential debate? Who would you want to see up there, throwing the questions back at the candidates?
Jon Stewart.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Jon Stewart is a good one.
That would be good.
I like Kevin Hart too.
Rest his soul. But if we can take someone back, for me, it would be Robin Williams.
Oh.
It'd just be another guy who will be up there just as dorky and funny as him.
But if you put Robin Williams, that would have greater ratings in the Super Bowl.
Or bring in Coach Prime. Coach Prime would be great.
Could you imagine that? More people would vote for Coach Prime than any of the two candidates.
Let Prime be the mediator of the debate. Now, that would be
amazing. Hey,
so who sponsors us, Rob?
Hey, Simpler.ai, digital marketing, be found in a complex world. And special thanks to CJ Anderson for doing this today. Thank you. We're going to do this again. We're going to do the watch along on Sunday. We'll do this again next Friday as well at noon here. Peter Schaefer, Esquire, thank you so much for being a part of this, helping put it together, being the person kind behind the scenes going, hey, let's do this again this year. So Peter, I appreciate you for helping put this together. Special thanks to Sean Hakes at Simpler, Sanctus Real for letting us use their music. And thank you for listening. Subscribe, share, tell your friends. You can find us on Apple and Spotify after all this. Watch again on YouTube. We'll put some clips out there. Parting words, CJ Anderson.
Keep watching football. Don't change it, man. Keep watching the greatest game to ever be created. And then come hang out with us. Like, seriously, you're going to have some funny stuff with me and Pete. I think this is, for me, you kind of get to see how, like, Pete was my agent. So you got to get to see how me and Pete work together. We worked just like this. Even though we were serious and we had a lot of success in our career, we had a lot of good jokes, man. So come hang out with me and my man, Shafe. But, yeah, keep watching football.
Peter Schaefer, any parting words?
Hey, football's back. Our long national nightmare is over, where we've had nothing to watch.
Yeah. I'm Rob Blasi. We'll see you guys
on
Sunday.
Let's go black.
Black.
Got the ball.
I'm gonna work. I've never played football before, CJ, but I'm gonna figure one of these hand signals out here for you, and I'm gonna be like, we're gonna call a play like to change the question up. I'm like, no, change the question. Change the question.
I'll give you a bunch of signals, man. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
We out.
See you guys.
Later.